That first year at Evergreen Junior, had a situation come up where I needed office help of a most unusual kind. I suppose I did it. Maybe the secretary did it. In any event, the main file cabinet in my office had everything in it that you have to have day to day. Locked. Can't find the key. The suspicion develops, you search the floor and all that, your desk, her desk, no key. You get the idea that somehow one of you laid the key on top of the file cabinet with the drawer open, it fell in, and it's not going to be easy to get it out. I checked with Mr. Lee, and he checks with his secretary, and no, there isn't a second key hidden anywhere. So I get a tool from home and I try to force the thing open. No way. So, it's kind of a joke around the school that I got the file cabinet locked and I can't find the lock. Key to get it open. So Mr. Lemon hears about the dilemma. Ike Lemon, he's Sharpie and he'd been around and knew a lot of things. So he came in and he said, there's a boy in this school that if you won't quiz him on how he did it or how he knows how to do it, I believe he could open your file cabinet. Ike, you got to be kidding. No, I'm not kidding. But he said, you got to protect the kid. Well, man, that's a port in a storm. And any port in a storm, they say, is a good port. So he told me who the boy was, and I approached the boy away from the office. And I said, Mr. Landman tells me that you could help me with a problem. So, he's looking me over very carefully, and I must admit I probably was looking him over rather carefully. And he said, what do you mean I could help you with a problem? Well, I said, there's a file cabinet locked in the office, and apparently the key is locked inside it and no second key. And Mr. Landman tells me that if I would ask you nicely and promise you no questions asked, that you could probably open that file cabinet. Well, he didn't say anything for a while, but he finally must have decided that if Mr. Landman trusts the guy, I guess I can trust him. But he said, well, if I'm going to do that, he said, you've got to get the office completely empty. No secretary, nobody in there, and you can't be in there. So we discussed some timelines as to when that might be convenient, and I don't remember how it was done. But when we agreed on a 30-minute time span, I agreed that I would send the secretary on an errand, that I would be outside the door, let him into the office, he could close the door behind him, and I would guard that door. Nobody, including me, would come in. The time came. He came, kind of looked at me again. I was holding the door open. He went right on in. I closed the door. I don't think that kid was in there 5 minutes. I suspicion maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and he was out. Gave a little nod to me and was gone. I went in. File cabinet was open. Sure enough, the key's laying there in the top. I think he'd probably reached around in there and found it, even though he was only in there such a short time. The key was laying on top of the top cabinet, right where you could see it. I'll never know how he did it. I honestly don't remember his name. I remember him as being a tall, well-built, nice-looking young man. I have no idea how he happened to have those skills, but he saved the day for me. Saved the district some money, and he wasn't a boy I ever saw in my office for trouble with teachers or anything, and his grades are good enough that I have no memory of him having any grade troubles. Excuse me. It's a strange world, isn't it? I hope that boy had a good life and that he had no occasion to use his skills in any irregular fashions.